Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first Rookie SDR video podcast. I have my first guest. Welcome, Christian, all the way from Chili Piper. Hey, Christian, what's going on today?
What's going on, Franklin? I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing fine in this beautiful land over here in Alpaca land right now. It's quite hot because we're in the summertime. Where are you currently located at the moment?
Ah, very nice, very nice. So I'm located in South Florida, about an hour north of Miami, and this time of year is a little bit cooler, but we're still getting some nice weather. Maybe not as nice as you, but I can't complain.
Nice. And are you originally from Florida?
Yeah, so I actually grew up in the Washington D.C. area, and I wanted to explore a little bit going to college. So I went to school in South Florida, and I kind of just fell in love with it. So when everything started to go remote and those opportunities became available, I jumped on that, and I said I want to definitely be in Florida.
Nice. And do you planning to relocating anywhere else, or you plan to stay in Florida or the rest of your time, basically?
I think as of right now, my plan is to enjoy South Florida for a little bit. Don't really have any big plans in terms of the future just yet, right? Just kind of trying to grind it out and figure things out, but definitely gonna stay here for now.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're in that age gap right now that we're just seeing where everything goes, right? Well, Christian, thank you so much for coming in today and joining on the first ever Rookie SDR show. I noticed that you're an SDR yourself for quite a few companies. Would you like to give us a little description about that?
Yeah, of course. So I went to school for a business management degree. There was some entrepreneurship in there as well in the curriculum. And I think that there's this reoccurring theme that came up when I was trying to figure out like, okay, Christian, what's next? I really enjoy this podcast called How I Built This by Guy Raz, NPR podcast. And it's this amazing podcast of these some of the biggest co-founders, entrepreneurs, idealists in the world that are really interviewed, and it takes the breakdown of pretty much where their idea or startup came from to like where it is today. And there was just like reoccurring theme of sales, right? Like selling themselves, selling their company. And I think that once I started doing some more research, I figured out that like sales is something I wanted to be in. So I kind of figured out that like tech was always something I was interested in. And that's where I kind of found my way into software sales. So I got to work for a few companies, learn about their software, sell their software, and then that brings me to where I'm at today, Chili Piper, which is another software company as well.
Yeah, I see the chili pepper. You have that's the logo, right? Why is it that why is it a chili?
Yeah, so it's our co-founders Nicholas and Alina. There's two brilliant people, and it's a kind of a play on words with Chili Piper, but it was an awesome brand awareness and opportunity for them as well, and they ran with it, and it's been quite a success so far.
Awesome. And I noticed that you have been learning a lot from many different, sales managers, sales leaders that you have come across. And I'm always curious to know why did you choose the sales career path now at this stage in your life?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's a few things. One, right, like learning more about this concept of entrepreneurship and owning your own book of business and being creative. And I think that like it translates to sales in a lot of way, right? In sales, you can go out and you have your own business in a sense. Let's call it your pipeline, your account, your territory. And from there, it's up to you, right, to create these different ways to reach out to people, to sell to people, to, close business with people. So I think that teetering with that and learning a little bit about that, I kind of just, fell in love with it and just continue to learn and grow from that.
Awesome. And like, do you read any books? Look, as you can see right here, I have a couple books here, but it's basically mostly related to sales. Do you find that valuable by reading books, by maybe reading articles or anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. So the thing with books is right, like there's all kinds of resources out there. I think you really can't go wrong by reading some of the, the big top sales books. But in terms of like really SDRing, right? I think Fanatical Prospecting by Jeb Blunt is an incredible book that really breaks down, I think like the process of prospecting and kind of the mindset around it. Because a lot of times, and especially for myself, when I jumped into being an SDR, I think that it's kind of a go, go, go figuring things out every single day. And you don't really think of like the big picture. So I think that book specifically really put the the picture together for me so that when I am trying to, get 1% better every day and reach those goals, I think back to that book and I reference that book, and it makes things really come to make sense for me.
Yeah, and just for some of our few audiences, everybody that's following us right now is very different individuals. But what is a sales development representative in your own term, in your own words?
Yeah, awesome. So I think, right, there's so many different explanations of what an SDR is, but really with my experience, an SDR is someone who is going out and who's trying to pique the interest of, let's call it, a decision maker, so that that person is interested enough to take a phone call, take a demonstration, however it may be, with the goal being eventually having them, buy whatever you're selling.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we can both adjust to the phone calling part, right? Especially, I don't know if you recall, but your first cold call, how was it? For me, it was very like, here I am dialing like 100 numbers a day, right, for this small company, and no one's answering me the phone. And you got this guy named John, he's saying, "Hey, stop calling me." Like, how was it? Like your first, let's say your 100 first dials.
Honestly, they were brutal. Like of course, you have to have confidence going into it. Right? I'm gonna cold call these people. All 100 of them are gonna say yes. And I think, and I kind of remember this. It was one of my first calls where someone actually picks up, and then it's just like everything that I thought I was learning for the past few weeks just like went out the door. And I started talking about things that seemed to have nothing to do with what I was supposed to be talking about, right? But I think that that's a huge concept of being an SDR, is just like failing quick and learning from that, because it's something like cold calls specifically, but being an SDR, there's so many things that have to be done throughout the day, and it's like, right, we can't be perfect at everything. So cold calling, for example, right, let's get on the phone, let's dial. If they answer, amazing, like let's try to book that meeting. But if we can't, I think that like the mindset of having a learning experience from that is incredible. But first couple $100 is pretty rough, and then I think it's a lot of sales is just reps and getting the experience, and then being able to move past that.
Yeah, for sure. And I always see this on LinkedIn, right? That people says a lot of sales leaders says, try to outtake the end goal, right? So, for example, for us, having a successful meeting, that's awesome. But whenever you were dialing, was your priority ever in a sense where, hey, I need to book this meeting, or was it more in a sense like, let me see if I can find some value into me given to this organization? Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So I think one of the biggest things is when I started like those first couple hundred cold calls, right? It was all about, oh my goodness, like I need to hit my number, I need to book meetings. It was like I. And then I think when I started working for a company like Chili Piper, I really saw, I think for the first time, the value of me calling someone, setting that demo, and then that demo turning into, closed business, because I really saw the impact we can make for businesses. So I think when I shifted the mindset of, oh, I have to call these people to book, to get my numbers and my quota, to shifting it to, right, I get to call these people and I get to like possibly even change someone's business, that was like and unleash this like awesome opportunity for me and really push me to like continue to call people as well.
Yeah, and as far as SDRs goes, it's mostly it's cold calling, it's emailing, and maybe a little bit video prospecting. What would you say is your biggest win suit that you're good at the most?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because for me, I thought it was the phone, and then I started selling Chili Piper, which is a very visual product. So emailing for the people we sell to works a lot more efficiently than cold calling, right? So I had to figure that early on. So I think that one, the biggest skill set I would say is a combination of a few things, like being the phone, being the email, being the or the video prospecting. But I think overall, it is being aware of the situation and the tools and the personas that you're selling to, and then being able to pivot and to adapt to that. And I think that is a huge skill, right? To go into any organization is to understand your surroundings, understand, right, what the top reps around you are doing that are being successful, and then being able to pivot to that, and then, right, like create your own path with that.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, you have been an SDR for other companies as well, but out of all different tech organizations, you mentioned that Chili Piper is a very visual, right? What would you say? Would you describe it for non-technical people? What is Chili Piper?
Of course, it's kind of funny too because people are like chili pepper, chili red hot chili peppers. What are you talking about? No, so we really handle everything. Think of inbound conversion. So a lot of companies have forms on their site. Request a demo, get a demo, contact us. And typically the process is for a majority of companies is a prospect will fill that form out, then they'll get a notification that says, "Thanks for reaching out. We'll get in touch with you soon." A few days go by, sometimes a few weeks, and that's how long it takes for the prospect to actually speak with someone on the sales team. Now, as you can imagine, Franklin, like a lot of issues come because of that, right? Like leads can drop off, they go search for your competitor, right? They want to speak to you right now, and unfortunately, there's not really many tools out there that can do that as complex as something that Chili Piper can do. So what we do is we actually simply just connect to that form. We just sit behind it as a little snippet of JavaScript. Depending on what someone fills out, we can give them the right calendar for the right rep. Let's say, Franklin, you're working a specific territory. We can know that information and then we give them your calendar. So the prospect can automatically book on your calendar. They're happy because they have a time set with you. You're happy because you have a meeting set with someone who's raising their hand saying, "I want to speak with you." And really just reduces a lot of the friction in that process.
Awesome. And now that you have grown within the SDR career path, and of course you're making it a career now as you move up, um, a lot of meme pages are out there that saying, like for example, I met one guy. He's an SDR for a company from I think from the North American region. But long story short, he said his meme pages are basically about long life SDRs. I noticed that SDRs kind of take quite a long time to be promoted into account executives, but you, a short amount of time, you from time that I have met you and known you, now you have been promoted. How does it feel?
Yeah, that's crazy. I appreciate that. It feels great. I remember the first time we met, right? Like you were looking to, you were looking at roles and we met and I was an SDR and then like fast forward to now. So it's kind of crazy. This is all coming to fruition. But yeah, it's been amazing so far.
Nice, nice. And what would you say to somebody that's like coming into this whole new the SaaS industry into the SDR world? As it's a very it's been out for quite many years, but it's quite new concept, especially for fresh grads right now and just individuals that are trying to jump into tech. What would be the best advice that you could give them as far as them jumping into tech?
That's a really great question, Franklin. I think there's a few things, right? One is kind of understanding like your skills and who you are and what you're looking to achieve in right in a tech role or anything in terms of sales, right? Because I think that there's a lot of traits first and foremost that make up a great sales rep, right? Right, being super curious, being tenacious, right, being gritty, like doing the hard work. Like the SDR role is a it gets unfortunately dubbed as like an entry level position, but there are some of the most talented people in sales I have met that are SDRs, right? So I think it's one, like really understanding what makes up a good sales rep. And then two, going into it, just being curious. I didn't know the technical aspects of a prospect, like Chili Piper before I entered into the company, right? The things that you will learn is it takes time to do that. But I think just starting to get curious around what interests you, right? If you look up tech and software in different industries and different verticals, just do some digging, be curious and see like kind of what piques that interest for you. And then just be curious, dive into those things, learn about them, ask around, meet up with new people in that industry, ask great questions. And from there, you'll find that you're going to set yourself up to a handful of companies that, hopefully you can get in the front door with.
Awesome. Well, Christian, thank you so much for coming in today and being my first guest, right? My first, how can I say this, free trial demo. Um, but where can people find you if they would like to ask you more in-depth questions, maybe reach out to you about Chili Piper or just in general want to have a chat with you? How can people find you?
Yeah, of course. So you can find me on LinkedIn. If you just go to Chili Piper's LinkedIn profile page, you can't miss it. We're this big logo right here. And then under employees, it's just Christian Corbin. Feel free to add me, message me, and happy to link up with anyone if they have any questions as well.
Well, everyone, thank you so much. Time has been up. It's been a pleasure to having Christian. Thank you so much for being part of this. And to everyone out there, to the new individuals and new rookie SDRs of just everyone that's interested in tech, thank you so much for watching. And I hope you have an amazing one. Catch you next time.